Hey guys, my name is Victor. I will talk about identifiers. Exciting. All right. So, you know how it's very hard to name stuff? You know, business logic's easy, plumbing stuff's easy, but that pesky names. All right, well, for all of this, we need identifiers, and that's the constants, you know, types, fields, variables, functions, parameters, and whatnot. So basically, anything you need. And as you know all from the spec, it's letters and numbers, but not the first one. But the question is, what's a letter? All right. Well, in this case, a letter is actually a Unicode category called letter. And it pretty much covers everything. Like, we're talking ASCII, we're talking Cyrillic, we're talking Japanese, hieroglyphics, Egyptian, if anybody still reads them, that's included, so you can actually use that. Yeah. So you can write your code in, you know, boring ASCII, that's perfectly fine. But you may be in a team that doesn't actually know how to write, how to read English. So sometimes it's much better to, you know, write about book and title with lists of Bücher and so on. Or if you're like me, in the old country, you can just write about Knigi with Zaglavia and so on. And I've actually seen, I've seen code like this. I mean, obviously not with Cyrillic, because, you know, in other languages that's not allowed, but, you know, we try our best with ASCII and whatnot. It doesn't come out very nice, but it's okay. Yeah, and as I said, you can also use hieroglyphics, cuneiform, you know, write that letter about copper, final lingo, pretty much everything. It's all inclusive, except for this. Surprisingly, emojis are not letters. Yeah, and I personally feel very targeted because as a youth, you know, I really enjoy writing succinct messages using emojis. So this is out of the question. If you try to compile it, well, you get a bunch of this. So that's not very good, is it? And look at it, it's so readable.
But JavaScript supports that, right? So points for JavaScript.
Actually, does it? I've never tried, but then again, I don't try to go to these venues. But yeah, this is, as we can all agree, much more readable. Look at it, obviously. So I personally think this is a huge omission, and we should definitely rectify it. So why am I talking about this? I mean, obviously, I like to dabble in back-end code. As most of you here, I've tried parsers and letters, you know, quite an itch. I am not, however, and I can't repeat this enough, a compiler engineer. I have no idea how this stuff works. So with that being said, I suggest we change the compiler. And that's an emoji sport right now. So let me stop presenting this screen. I did not actually sacrifice anything today for this presentation, so this can go awfully wrong. Well, let's give it a try. Which one? And maybe this one. Okay. So I've prepared a clean Go installation.
You can make it a bit bigger.
Can I? Maybe I can make it a bit smaller.
Yes.
Excellent. Or maybe just a little bit bigger. Good? Better? Bad? Okay.
Good.
All right. So I've started with our application. Beautiful. And if we try to build out, first of all, let's double check this. Yes, it's absolutely using that custom Go tool chain. So if we build it, it actually built, because maybe I didn't clean it enough. So let's give it a try. Let's delete everything. And right. Okay, so this is why you have to sacrifice something before you start. But let's pretend that this returned actually an error, because I have no idea why it's happening. And we can just jump right to the Go code and try to find that pesky error. So first of all, this is where all the source code of the Go to chain lives, packages and compiler. So if we search for invalid character, which we saw before, we can see a lot of stuff that emits it. But I know for a fact that there is one specific case that has it somewhere, and that is in CMD, compiled internal scanner. And that just so happens to be a lecture, which when parsing, this is supposed to output all the tokens for everything. So let's see. This is where the magic happens. So each room that the lecture encounters goes through here. And as per the spec, it checks whether it's a letter or an underscore. That's fine. If it's a digit, that's fine, as long as it's not the first one. And finally, we see that error that we just saw. So I assume we can just go and write Unicode is emoji SCH and call it a day, right? For those of you who don't know, we can rebuild a tool chain like this. And my computer is very slow. It doesn't take less than 10 seconds. So I probably need a new one. But as you can see, we actually can't use it because there is no such function. Surprise, surprise. So let's try and put something here. It's, as you said, in package Unicode. The graphics file actually contains the is letter we saw before. Let's try to put something here like is emoji. It's our room with a bool and just return true. Why not? And obviously now this should work, right? It's still slow. But it doesn't. Why? Well, because the compiler that was just built doesn't know about this new function that we built because it wasn't built with the packages that, we just introduced. So obviously that doesn't work. So we can't do it like this. The best we can do in this case is go back to the scanner and let's just put, what was it? Internal syntax is emoji. Let's put the function here. Oops. All right. So now, if I actually roll this correctly, no, I did not, because I need to ditch this. Oops, and this one. It's not. So now, if I roll this correctly, this should now build. Or at least not produce this error. Any day now. Yeah. As Michael said, what was it? 1 to 2 minutes? Now, that being said, as you can see, we're not getting this error anymore, but we are still going to have problems. And that is, now the compiler thinks everything is an identifier once it reaches that stage because we're returning true everywhere. But let's just give it a go once this is done. I have no idea why it's building 3 tool chains there. Somebody knows?
It's like a bootstrapping thing, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, but you bootstrap one, then another, why 3? Now the packages. And
Still doesn't building.
come on. You can do it. There we go. We're back in the game.
It's on the test though.
Yeah. No test this time. So if we build it, well, I've run into the same problem. Actually, I have no idea why this is happening.
You can run the Go from the directory in which you just built. That should pick it up. Like just specify the full path to the Go binary in that thing.
But it should be, it's right there. All right. Where do you think it is? Where did it put it? It should be in the same directory, right? Oops, double goes. Yeah. Yeah, it's this version. So I want to.
That doesn't have a data string.
It doesn't have a what? I didn't hear it.
It just means it's not in Git. No, never mind.
No, never mind. All right. So I can't really show you that it's hanging, but it is. Right? So once you build it, it will just hang on the build, not on the runtime, but on the build when it's trying to parse the things. So that means we just have to extend this function, which is again in CMD, compile internal syntax, emojis, or is emoji, right? And the way you do this now in Go, we have the package Unicode, which has this fancy function called Unicode. Unicode is, we pass it a range table and the rune itself. We don't have the range table right now. But what a range table is an object that contains two tables, one for 16-bit code points and one for 32-bit code points for the Unicode, which tells us, yeah, okay, this belongs to something. And it's a huge table, and I honestly can't be bothered writing it, so I prepared the file beforehand. So let's see, where are we?
In go.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No,
Because the
everything
other
is.
thing, I think it was go bin or something. No?
Yes. No, it's up go is like
Up,
the
go,
the
go,
dump
okay,
and then the
okay.
go bin. Yeah. It's go all the way down. It's go. We'll be fine. So is emoji is the correct one, and let's see CMD compile internal syntax. So if you look at the file now, this is a range table that I stole from the internet some time ago. I assume it includes some things, but not a lot. But yeah, it's pretty, yeah, detailed. Now this will get us somewhere, which unfortunately, because I have this problem, I will likely not be able to show you, but let's give it another try.
Is that the list of emojis in UTF-8 or is it just in prefix?
Oh no, that's the list of some emojis in UTF-8.
Because I think you can use the prefix. They are allocated to, there is a couple of prefixes that are allocated to emojis.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're a bit scattered.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's not that there's one single one that you can just use, actually, if you look at the code here, I mean, this is a range. This list was clearly written so that it doesn't take account of the range, because this is supposed to be I think the documentation calls it a stride. I have no idea what that means, but I assume it's like if you can specify probably this one and then sequential ones until the end right here, and this is probably the stride. Hopefully, I have literally no idea. But once you include it, and if this would have worked, we would have not gotten these errors. But at least I can show you something else, since I obviously cannot show you this. And that is what kind of errors we get, since I got them before. So, as you remember from the slides, some of these errors, I'm actually going to share the other one again, because this one is obviously not going to work. Better. So, some of these errors are like that. One F4D7, F7, and so on. But there is one curious one right here. What is that?
Is it a zero-hit joiner?
It is not, actually. No. This is some kind of variant selector or something. What it does is it tells the code point before it how it should render. So if you don't have this, for example, in the terminal renders as something simplified. This code point tells it to render like this. So you have to add that. And then it gets even more complicated. So you have a bunch of code points, and that's fine. And you cover quite a few emojis. But then you get to flags. Flags are a whole different beast, and apparently they're not even considered very emoji. Like one flag usually has maybe 5 or 6 code points within it. Like for example, the Welsh flag I think has 5 or something. So you have to add all of these to the list of our friendly isEmoji function. But then once you do, you get to bask in the glory and write a very nice emoji Latin code. Yeah, so that was my talk actually. It's a bit short. I hope you enjoyed the talk about emojis. Thank you, and if you have any questions, yeah.